back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Yo, UFC, if you're listening, cut this fucking chick already. Holy smokes, yo. I'm cool with Angela Magana. You know, she's a heel in the MMA world. A lot of people in the MMA world are not cool with Angela Magana. They actually like fucking are the opposite. They hate Angela Magana, which is a little too far. I mean, she got into a little incident we all know with Chris Cyborg, the UFC's fighter retreat, where after posting fucking pictures on Twitter allegedly bullying Chris Cyborg, where she compared Chris Cyborg to Jigsaw, Chris Cyborg ended up punching her in the face. Angela Magana claimed she was going to press charges. That's the history. That's where a lot of people found out about Angela Magana, who was then riding a 4-fight losing streak in the UFC. Well, now I'm going to cover everything Angela Magana in this video, and hopefully, I'm going to cover Chris Cyborg, who thanked Angela Cooper. We'll get into that later. But everything Angela Magana has said after this loss, I'm going to cover in this one video, including the UFC removing seconds or minutes from the Fight Pass replay due to the wardrobe malfunction Angela Magana experienced at UFC 218. Now, this video might go on for a while because there's a lot of fucking hypocrisy and bullshit we are going to cover. Let's get into it. Angela Magana, first of all, to me, most fucking, I don't know, I was gonna say disgustingly, but it's just fucking, to me, it's absurd. She said if she were a man, the referee would have let her take a beating longer. She proclaimed an early stoppage. If you watched the fight, you saw Angela Magana was getting beat up through 2 rounds, and I was surprised the ref somewhat let her take that long of a beating. Not because she's a woman, but because it was either the ref's gonna stop it or she looked like she may be about to tap the strike soon. She wasn't defending. The referee was saying defend. He was screaming, whether you're a man or a woman, you got the same ears. Defend or I'm gonna have to stop it. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. And that's when you have to either defend yourself or the ref's gonna stop the fight. Now, before that, before the stoppage, now there was actually I have to cover this because it's a good point about this equal rights. She's claiming equal rights in fights. This is complete bullshit, and let me explain why. Because another thing that happened in this fight was a wardrobe malfunction where Angela Magana's breast was exposed whenever she was mounted by Angela Cooper, who went on to win the fight. Now, if Angela Magana was a man, the UFC would have not went and removed that fight clip from Fight Pass. Now, I know that's a little like, what? That is true, but also, let me explain. The UFC did that because she's a woman, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's a terrible marketing move. I thought of that joke before, but that's just a joke. Because whenever I made the video of Angela Magana losing and the fucking wardrobe malfunction, and I told you guys I had that shit on Snapchat because you can't put it on YouTube, I swear to God, my Snapchat followers like doubled. So if the UFC wanted to sell Fight Pass, they would have just left that shit alone. And if you were a man, they would have left that shit alone. But I understand, Miss Angela Magana, your majesty, loves controversy, and she might be looking for an excuse for losing the fight. But to be honest, if the fight would have went to decision, Angela Magana would have had to get a knockout in the 3rd round. If she would have survived to the 3rd round, she would have had to have scored a knockout or a submission because she was getting smoked, to be honest. Now, one other thing she said after the fight, fuck, I gotta remember because I'm going off the top of my head because I really don't want to cover this too much. But one other thing she said after the fight was, there was an early stoppage. Something else, man, I'm gonna have to fucking look this up. 1 second. Okay, that's what she said. She said that there are no losers at this level of fighting. Pretty much it sounded like she's saying everybody deserves a participation trophy, and I disagree. At this level of fighting, I don't know if she's talking about just in the UFC or if she's talking about at the highest level of mixed martial arts, but either way, I mean, she's not, you know, close to either in one of those categories that she's riding a 5-fight losing streak. So I don't, and that's why I started this video off by saying cut this chick already, because not only is she coming out and saying that the referees, and you know, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just saying, you know, she's causing problems for the UFC. I don't know if they enjoy this, but if there was a 0-5 fighter coming out saying that the referee stopped their fight early because of racism, I don't see him sticking around the UFC much longer. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what race they are. I'm just saying, or you know, if it's just fucking absurd to say this. Oh, the UFC, and she didn't say the UFC. I guess she's saying the referee. I don't know if she said Herb Dean. I think it was Herb Dean refereeing the fight. I might be mistaken, but whether she's saying the referee or the UFC is sexist for letting her fucking not take more of a beating, and I'm telling you, if you miss the fight and you go watch the fight, it was not an early stoppage. If you want to see an early stoppage, there was one on the night, and that was in like the Abdul Razak fight versus Sabah Hamasi. But that, and they're men. They're fucking men. I just thought about that. Did they stop that fight early because it was a woman? No. So how can, and it might have been the same referee. Holy shit, if it's the same referee, I'm gonna have to fucking tell you guys in the comments. Somebody tell me in the comments after the fight. If it was Herb Dean in the Magana fight and Herb Dean in the Sabah Hamasi fight, and she's claiming early stoppage because she's a woman, that is just bullshit. And what's the difference between sexism and racism as far as like making an accusation towards someone? You're accusing someone of, you know what, you're accusing somebody of something bad, whether you're saying the UFC is racist or the UFC is sexist. I mean, that's fucking absurd to me. That's not true. The UFC is one of the least sexist organizations as far as sports promotions that I can think of. They can fucking put females on the top of some of the biggest cards of their biggest cards of this year and maybe last year. I don't know about this year, but last year we had fucking Miesha Tate fighting Amanda Nunes at the main event of UFC 200. Ronda Rousey, main event of UFC. What are you talking about? The UFC. So she might be just saying the referee, but either way, I pointed back to the fucking Sabah Hamasi fight. So that's a contradiction. And when you're riding a 5-fight losing streak and you're accusing you're blaming the organization, maybe you need to go find another organization that's not, you know, maybe it's not going to be their fault, because it just sounds like she's trying to find an excuse for her loss here, which is, I guess, I mean, I'm not going to say understandable, but I mean, you see it happens. People lose, they try and find a reason. It takes a special type of person to be able to just fucking take a loss on the chin and just fucking hold their head high and say some cold shit like Conor McGregor or Dominic Cruz. Some people don't have that in them, and to me, that's what this is. But I do not think the UFC is sexist, and I fucking do think there are winners and losers. Fuck you, Tab Matt. With that being said, it is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you, Tab Matt, in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking D-O double G!